Hello everyone, my name is Devin and welcome to a platformer tutorial. So today we're going to go over moving platforms. So just to show you what that entails is we have moving platforms that loop back and forth. You can toggle them to loop or not loop, meaning once you go on them, they'll go to the end position, they'll stop, and then when you get off, they'll go back. And this also works while going up and down. So there are many different ways to do this. Mine are just, as you'll see, one simple blueprint that has multiple platforms. So this is just to easily visualize where they start, where they end, and where they go back to. So for example, the platform doesn't need to start in the starting position, but it will go back there. There are different tutorials out there, some that use splines, some that use just vectors or like target points, along with timelines. Those are all good. This one is just using the move component too, and just has that multi-functionality. It's good for linear movement. If you want to do platforms that go around or curve, I would suggest finding a platformer spline tutorial. So to start, we're just gonna have an empty level. Go into this YouTube. Let me open up a new level. Default. Let's just save that. So we have our default level. Let me make it just a little bit bigger. I'm just going to change it to my third-person game mode just so I have my character. Don't worry, this will work with your regular third-person character model or whatever character you're using. So now that we have our level, we're going to quickly make the platform. So it'll be a blueprint actor. We'll call this platform YouTube. Save the level. YouTube map. Before we go in there, I'm just going to set it up so that we have the different colored meshes. So a quick way to do this, the meshes is for the green and red. Sorry, the materials, not meshes. If we go to the starter content and you go to materials, a quick way to do it is you can quickly just duplicate the basic wall material. And let's just bring that in to our YouTube, just to keep everything in one place. So let's call this one platform start. Let's make sure following some standards and duplicate and minus platform end. So we'll open up the start material, bring that in. See, we have the color node, double click. So start, change it to 1 for green, everything else 0. Hit OK, apply, save. Platform end, same thing, but we're going to do red. So put red to 1, the rest is 0. So now that we have everything, just always saving all, we have our materials, we have our platform, we're good to start. So let's open up our actor and we have the default scene. So here we are going to add a component. We're going to add a box. Sorry, let's call it cube. And let's change it. The scale will do 2 to 0.2 for the z-axis. And this will give us a nice big platform. Let's go ahead and rename this to platform. And then now we want to have our starting and endpoints. So we can duplicate twice, rename, start position. We'll name the first one, and the second one we will name end position. Go ahead and set our materials. Start position, platform start, end position. Oops. And compile and save. So now what you'll see is if we click on either the start or end position and just move it, you'll see our color. So that'll come in handy later when we're in the viewport making our level. So now that we have our platform, let's just go ahead and throw it into the level. So we have it. Let's go ahead and put an end position. So click on your platform, go to the details, click on the end position, and drag it out. So you'll notice right away when you hit play that it remains in the level. So we don't want it to affect our level, we just want it as a visual representation in the editor. So what we'll do is we'll go back. You want this for both start and end. And let's hide it. So hidden in game. Correct. To turn off the collision. If you don't turn this off, I'll quickly show you. They won't show up, but you'll see we're still colliding with it. So to turn that off, go to collision, no collision. We can also just turn off overlap events for these two. Now when we go to our level, walk straight ahead, there's nothing. So now we want this platform to actually move to the location. So let's just open up our blueprint, get rid of his. Open up our blueprint, event graph, and we're going to start coding off of the begin play. So this platform, right, is meant to be toggled between looping and non-looping. So what first we need to do is create a Boolean variable called is looping. And then make that public to the editor. So making this visible to public. So each one that you place, you can specifically determine its actual behavior, which is very good for when you're doing level design. So what we want to do is get it, cast to a branch, and if true, we want it to loop. So we need our first custom event called start looping. And if true, we want to start looping. So now that we're going to start looping, let's go ahead and make the looping function. So I like to add a slight delay just for testing purposes. So I have time to get on the platforms and test its behavior, and just so it just staggers them. You can just remove this if you don't want to use it. It's fine. They'll just start right away. Next, we're going to do a move component 2. So like I said, this tutorial is all around this function. You can use timelines, you can use lerps, there's a whole bunch of different ways, but we're just going to focus on this. So with the move component 2 function, we need the component to move. We want platform and target relative location. So we want the end position. Branch that out, get the relative location, and plug it in. Now we do have an overtime function. So let's just go ahead and set this to 2 and see what we get. So make sure you click on our platform and loop. And now it moves. So now that we got that moving, let's go ahead and make it loop. So copy, paste. And this time we want the start position. Once it's complete, we want it to move. And then once done, to loop it. So now we're going into the loop function. The platform's going to move to the end position. Once it's done, it's going to move the platform to the start position. And then keep going forever and ever and ever. So let's just test it out. And there we go. So now this is good, but we'll quickly find out that if we were to make 2, copy, paste, let's bring that over. And then let's click on the end position and let's drag it out a bit further. Now, when we hit play, we'll see that one is way faster than the other. And that's because we haven't set it up so that the platforms are going at a consistent speed. Because right now it's just, if you look here, it needs to complete this function within 2 seconds. So the speed is always going to be relative to the distance. So luckily there is a function for that. And that is to get time. So we need to know like the time it'll take to move from here to there, from the platform to the end position, given a relative speed. So first we need to go ahead and make a speed variable of type float. File. And let's make it 200. So the formula for this, so time is equal to distance over speed. So we want time, our value here, distance over speed. So we need to get the distance and the speed. So we have the speed, but we need the distance. So to get the distance is we need to grab platform. And there's a specific reason why we're grabbing platform and not start position, which I'll show you after. So come here, get the relative. Miss each other. And then vector length. So now that we have the distance, we just need to divide it by the speed. And we can quickly go copy this. And put it over here. So now when we run, they'll both move at the same speed. Now, the reason why we did platform here instead of start position is because the start position, or maybe it's a bad name, but for example, if we click on here and we get start position and we move it away, if we did start position here, what would happen is it would incorrectly get the time it would take to cover distance because it would be calculating from here to here instead of here to here. So it'll actually move slower. And just to show you, we can quickly just get start position, plug that in, and take a look. So that's the reason why, and that's why we leave it as platform. All right, so now that we have it looping, what if we want the character to start it? So basically when we come on the platform, we only want it to move one direction, and when we get off, we want it to move back in the other direction. So in the same blueprint, we are going to go back to our viewport, platform, and we are going to add a box collision. And we'll call it platform collision. Compile, save. Now when we go to the event graph, click on your collision, overlap, and end overlap. So this will be the default behavior when looping is false. So what we want to do is first check if it's our third person character. If it is, then we want to move. And similarly, we can just copy this. Now, the reason why we don't make this into a function itself, I mean, we could take this and put it into a macro, but the reason why we can't put this into a function is because of the move to components. You can't have like a timeline or anything that moves an object in a function itself. So yeah, and then once that's over, we can go ahead and copy this. Third person character and move. So we're not done yet, but this should show you the desired behavior. So let's go ahead. Let's click on this. Let's make this a bit smaller. Bring it back. And let's go to is looping, turn it off, and play it. What did I do wrong? Oh, I forgot to do the box collision. Let's go ahead and move the box collision up. And let's do 1.5, 1.5, and that should be good. Now it'll work. Get off, and it'll go back. Get on, it'll go back. Off, on, off. And you see there's like a slight stutter sometimes. And jump. So that's what we're going to fix. So first, let's just move my player character out of the way and go back to our event graph to see what's wrong. So when looking at the event graph, you'll notice that we have multiple move to components. So these are still running, even though we're getting off and on. So just because we stop overlapping and start this one doesn't mean this one also stops. So they're sort of fighting each other. So what we need to do is call the stop function. So we'll make two custom events. We'll call it stop overlap on, and plug it in. Another one, stop overlap off, plug it in, and then call them. So if successful, stop overlap off, stop overlap on, and we should be done. So now, actually, there's one more thing, but this will get rid of the issue. So now, stop, get back on. See, there's no more glitching. It just goes. Now, the other thing is that we still haven't turned off the collision for when it's looping. So you get this weird glitchy behavior. So to fix that, we go up here and get to platform collision. Set collision enabled. And set it to no collision. And there you go. Now, it won't change. And then what we'll do is make some more. So let's go ahead, drop in another one here. End position up. Let's do another one. Let's do here. Let's make it the same. Right. End position. Get nice and close. And then we can even change the start position on this one a little further back. So now, let's make this loop. Now we go up and it loops. So now all we got to do is make jump. And there you go, platforms. So this is just a fun, interesting, quick and dirty platformer. If we go back to my other map here, yeah, so I also have other platform stuff. I have some bounces, pickups. There are arrows, so you can get hit, lose some health, or you can use them as stepping stones, checkpoints, spinning platforms. You die, you fall off, and you get respawned. And then if you idle, there's also some character idle animations that I put in. So yeah, let me know what you think. Leave comments down below. If you want to see any more of the stuff that I have in here, be happy to do it. Also leave your feedbacks, likes, subscribe, whatever you want. See you next time.